I'm Kendall Qualls. I'm candidate for U.S. Congress for Minnesota's 3rd Congressional District. This is my first time running for office, but it's not the first time for me serving our country. I served in the military for 5 years, and I just felt that this was a need for us to kind of step forward and take a stance for our country in a time of crisis for us. And things have been going very well in the campaign.
Hi, I'm Manoj Matthew Thomas. I'm running for Corcoran City Council. I believe all of us have a role to play in our local government, and it's our moral and civic duty to make sure we elect the right leaders at city, state, and for the federal government. So let's ask Kendall what he's running for and what his vision for us is.
Sure, thank you. It's something that's really a tradition in our country. We have a privilege in our country where any citizen can participate in government, not only just from voting, but at any level, city council, state, and federal. And so if you have the conviction and you feel like you have beliefs that you want to move forward that other people would respond to, it's part of the American tradition. And so that's what I'm responding to right now. In the last 2 years, we've seen our country take steps and moves that are not in the tradition of our country, especially for me personally. Values like we are an equal, fair country, that we all have religious freedoms that should be valued by the populace, that we allow to live our lives and live our freedoms without restrictions. And that this whole value of the rule of law, public safety, law and order, those things are important. And there's been a tradition in this country that's been, I would say, in question, violated. And I wanted to make sure that I stood up for those values that, for me personally and my family, are something I want to make sure that's available and stays there for the next generation of our children and grandchildren.
It's always refreshing to have a candidate who wants to run for common sense and not special interest. And for me personally, I live by the code that to whom much is given, much is expected. And after I moved into Corcoran, which is the city that I'm running for, I started participating in city activities. I got appointed to the Charter Commission of the city. But the most satisfying role for me was when I volunteered my time for the police department. So I'm a reserve police officer in Corcoran. So when there was unrest, when people were panicking about COVID, being out there and serving my community was very satisfying. I had neighbors, friends, family come up to me and thank me for the time I've spent in the community. Corcoran is going through a lot of growing pains when it comes to development. I think there are 3 things the city does not do well. It does not do well with respect to engaging your residents, bringing them along, understanding what policies work for them. It does not do a good job of managing the development we are seeing. They have a comprehensive plan that they believe works best, but we have seen it in action. We've seen homes being built without any regard for infrastructure. We have seen 10-acre parking lots being proposed next to people's backyards. We've seen semi-truck repair facilities in the backyard of communities. Those are senior living communities. So it's not a fit. And the inability to change and adapt a comprehensive plan that's not working for the city is a second problem. And lastly, I believe that we have to do a better job in spending. We have discretionary city hall remodels worth close to $1 million of our money that's being earmarked. The city council would tell you that that's money in the bank. My argument is, if it's money in the bank, let's use it for infrastructure that the city can use, the residents can use, and not on a building that they can't. I believe the city needs a reboot, the city needs a new perspective and a new voice. And that's why I'm running for city council. And Kendall is a great leader, and I think in Washington we need common sense, we need people who put our priorities first, and we need less special interest. And I know from talking to him in the past that he's ready to get to work. He can't wait to finish this cycle, get elected, and go there to work for us?
Well, one of the things I feel like in my background is the story that resonates with many people in the 3rd District. My personal story is an American story. I started my life in poverty in New York City, in Harlem, and then later lived part of my childhood in the trailer park in Oklahoma. I just trusted and believed in the system of our country, and I worked hard. I got an education. I got an advanced degree. My wife and I, we got married when we were early in our 20s. And we had 4 children together, and then we later adopted a 5th child. And I tell people I don't remember which one because I love them all the same. But here's the thing. 5 children. It costs a lot for education, for college, a lot of health care. And those are big issues and concerns for middle-class Americans and middle-class people here in Minnesota in the 3rd District. So those are the priorities that I can help with because I lived them. I served our country in the Army for 5 years as an artillery officer here in the United States as well as in South Korea. So I have a global perspective of foreign affairs, and I led global marketing teams at Fortune 100 companies. Over half of our revenue came from outside the United States. So I would travel to places like China, India, Europe, and Latin America. And I have a perspective that's, again, the same perspective for many companies here in the 3rd District that rely on a global perspective. And how do we still make our communities local and safe so our children can prosper in it for generations?
And that's exactly why Kendall has my support, my family support, my friends' support. And I'm requesting anybody who's watching this and who supports me to get out there, vote, make sure Kendall is the leader who represents our district for Congress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.